Ashvamedha Yajna is a ritual performed by queens for fertility and also to gain power in the kingdom. The Ashvamedha Yajna includes slaughtering the horse, then follows the queen's intercourse with the horse, then the horse is cut into pieces and cooked. Their main objection is that this ritual does not include intercourse and is only meant to bring prosperity in the kingdom, and they fail to furnish any reference which may suggest that this ritual is pure and decent and only meant to bring prosperity. However, Purana and Sutra clearly mentions about this vulgar ritual. The Harivamsa Purana says, Harivamsa Purana, Bhavashya Parva March 5, 2011-13. After the passage of some time, King Janamejaya, who offers plenty of tributes, observed the horse sacrifice as ordained. Devi Vipushtama, the daughter of the king of Kashi, went and slept with the slain horse, according to the ritual as prescribed. Seeing the queen with beautiful limbs, Sava desired her. Entering the body of the dead horse, Indra had intercourse with the queen. Trail. Ipurashothaman and Aharindranath. These verses are too vulgar to comment. My question is, if horse sacrifice does not include copulation with the horse, then why did Indra enter the body of the horse when he could have done it with his own body? As copulation with dead horse is part of the ritual, Indra thought that no one will come to know if he enters the body of the dead horse and copulates with the queen. This verse clearly shows that Ashvamedha does include copulation with a dead horse. This is why the Vedic god Indra, who couldn't resist his lust, entered the body of the horse and successfully copulated with the queen, and no one stopped it, as copulation is part of the ritual, where the queen sleeps naked with the horse. They both are covered up with a cloth, and she places the penis in her private part. Further, the sutras also mentions chief queen's copulation with a dead horse. It is mentioned in Apastambhashrata Sutra 20.17.12-18 that the chief queen recites some mantras, and then all the wives of the king circumambulates the horse, fan it, tie their hairs on the right side of their head. Ramayana tells us that Queen Kaushalya, the mother of Hindu god Ram, had spent a night with a horse. Valmiki Ramayana, Balakanda 1, Sarga 14, verses 33-35. With great delight coming on her, Queen Kausalya reverently made circumambulations to the horse, and symbolically killed a horse with 3 knives. Queen Kausalya, desiring the results of ritual, disconcertedly resided one night with that horse that flew away like a bird. Thus, the officiating priests of the ritual, namely Hota, Atwariyu and Udgata, have received in their hand the crowned queen, the neglected wife, and a concubine of the king. Next, as a symbolic donation in the ritual by the performer, the king. Trail. Shri Desi Rayu Hanumantrao. This ritual is mentioned in both Krishna and Shukla Yajurveda, but this ritual mentioned in Krishna Yajurveda is obscure, because the translator has omitted those verses. Krishna Yajurveda, July 4, 2019. The wicked horse is sleeping. O fair one, clad in fair raiment, in the world of heaven be ye too covered. Sacred to. I am reproducing the translation of Krishna Yajurveda by an Indologist. Krishna Yajurveda, July 4, 2019. Semen to producer, produce semen. Bring the penis into the 2 thighs, drive along the erect and unctuous one, which is women's living enjoyment, which is their hole to runner. Women's dear secret, which has hit the sardigrity in their black mark. This little bird which creeps around saying O Halam knocks the penis into the slit. The vulva devours it. It is mentioned in Shukla Yajurveda. Yajurveda 23.19-21. All wife of the host reciting 3 mantras go round the horse. While praying, they say, O horse, you are protector of the community on the basis of good qualities. You are protector or treasure of happiness. O horse, you become my husband. After the animal is purified by the priest, the principal wife sleeps near the horse and says, O horse, I extract the semen worth conception, and you release the semen worth conception. The horse and principal wife spread 2 legs each. Then the Ardhvaryu orders to cover the oblation place, raise canopy etc. After this, the principal wife of the host pulls penis of the horse and puts it in her vagina and says, "This horse may release semen in me." Then the host, while praying to the horse, says, "O horse, please throw semen on the upper part of the anus of my wife. Expand your penis and insert it in the vagina, because after insertion, this penis makes women happy and lively." This verse from Yajurveda could have been rejected or interpreted in some other way if it wasn't mentioned in the Brahmanas. The Brahmana and Shraddha Sutras attests above obscene verses. But Ayana Shraddha Sutra chapter 15 verse 29, the Ardhvaryu escorts the senior queen fully decorated, making amends, being reproached, "O Amba, O Ambali, O Ambika, no person leads me. The poor horse is sleeping." Having lain down by the side of the horse towards the north, she draws a piece of cloth over her head. The Ardhvaryu covers both of them with the piece of linen with the formula, "O fair one, clad in a fair garment, do you two be covered together in the heaven." The senior queen lays the horse's penis on her lap with the formula, "I have clasped the impregnatory. Do thou clasp me for impregnation. Let us together spread out our 4 legs." The Ardhvaryu follows her with the formulas, "Let the impregnator out of you deposit the seed. O horse, do thou press thy region of male organ upon the thighs and insert into the queen's genitals thy penis, which is the means of enjoyment of women, which dashes into their womb, and which, when entered into the genitals, pleases them, and which attacks the central part of genitals within the black spot." The senior queen censures the horse. Trail. Dr. Shintaman Ganesh Kashikar. Sankhayana Shraddha Sutra 16.3.33-36. When the horse has been quietened, they cause the first consort of the king to lie down near it. They cover them both with an upper to garment. To these 2 the sacrificer addresses the obscene. "Put the penis into thighs, bring the sleek one down, which is the life and delight of women." Trail. W. Kaland. Prajna Prajananam Samhya. Apastam Shraddha Sutra 20.18.4. Putting generative organ together with generative organ. Asvasisnam Apast Kurutkatyayana Shraddha Sutra 20.6.16 takes the penis of the horse in her lap. Samhitaprayananayo. Varaya Shraddha Sutra 3.4.4.15. When their 2 generative organs have been put together. Satapatha Brahmana 1.3.5.2.1-10. A cloth, an upper cloth, and gold is what they spread out for the horse, and on that they quiet him. When the sacrificial animals have been quieted, the wives come up with water for washing the feet, 4 wives, and a maiden as the 5th, and 400 women attendants. When the water for washing the feet is ready, they make the chief queen lie down next to the horse, and they cover the 2 of them up with the upper cloth as they say the verse, "Let the 2 of us cover ourselves in the world of heaven, for the world of heaven is where they quiet the sacrificial animal." Then they draw out the penis of the horse and place it in the vagina of the chief queen, while she says, "May the vigorous virile male, the layer of seed, lay the seed." This she says for sexual intercourse. While they are lying there, the sacrificer insults the horse by saying, "Lift up her thighs and put it in her rectum." No one insults back, lest there should be someone to act as a rival against the sacrificer. The officiant then insults the maiden, "Hey, maiden, hey, maiden," the little female bird, and she insults him back, "Hey, officiant, hey, officiant, that little bird." And then the overseer insults the chief queen. "Hey, chief queen, hey, chief queen, your mother and father climbed to the top of a tree. She has as her attendants 100 daughters of kings." They insult the overseer in return. "Hey, overseer, hey, overseer, your mother and your father play in the top of a tree." Then the cantor insults the king's favorite wife. "Hey, favorite, hey, favorite wife, raise her up erect. She has as her attendants 100 royal women." They insult the cantor in return. "Hey, cantor, raise him up erect. Then the invoker insults the rejected wife. Hey, rejected wife, hey, rejected wife, when inside her tight crack, she has as her attendants 100 daughters of bards and village headmen. They insult the invoker in return. Hey, invoker, when the gods see that miserable penis. Then the carver insults the fourth wife. Hey, fourth wife, when the deer eats the barley, does not all desires are achieved. Thinking, with all kinds of speech we will achieve all kinds of desires, they make the chief queen get up. Then the women walk back the way they came, and the others utter at the end a sweet-to-smelling verse, the verse that begins, I praise Datakurvan for the life to span, and the gods go out of those who speak in pure speech in the sacrifice. Thus they purify their speech to keep the gods from going out of the sacrifice. As you can see, Satapatha Brahmin verses are in coordination with Yajurveda verses, so there is nothing to doubt about its authenticity. Griffith has omitted the obscene verses of Yajurveda due to the obscene necrophilia involved. He wrote in the commentary, this and the following 9 stanzas are not reproducible even in the semi-obscurity of a learned European language. To Ralph T. H. Griffith on Yajurveda 23.20, p.213. 1899 edition. Ralph Griffith's translation is based on commentaries of renowned Hindu scholars, and all the classical scholars gave the same interpretation, so instead of translating such vulgar lines, Griffith preferred to skip those verses. If you notice the Brahmana translated by Julius Eggeling, available at Sacred 2, he has partially translated these verses. He has added ellipses. The reason for this omission is because the translator found these verses to be too vulgar. But still there are some Hindus who try to explain these verses in their own way. Below I am quoting so-called explanations from 2 20. Tau equals we 2. Ubao equals both. Chatura equals intelligent. Pada equals subject. Samprasarayava equals reach out. Swargalokam equals heavenly planet. Preshuvava equals command. Vrishava Aji equals horse. Radhu equals lord. Rathawi equals chariots. Adati equals provides. Translation: we both command the intelligent horse as our subject to reach out for heaven. The Lord provides the chariots. The real meaning here is that by performing Ashvamedha Yajna, one can get the blessings of the heavenly king, Indra. And then he goes on to write how the British distorted the meaning and concocted the currently widespread meaning. Let me explain how the verse in Yajurveda 23.20 is distorted to satisfy the whims and fancies of the fabricators. The word Rathau is replaced by Redau, which means semen. Next, Adati is replaced by Dadhatu, which means insert. Finally, Radhu is strangely replaced by Ratada, which means conception. Even in the fabricated verse, it should be Ratadhya and not Ratada for the sentence to be grammatically correct. This is how charlatans get caught when they distort the meaning of the verses. Yajurveda 23.20, O ruler and the subject. You should expand bliss for everyone by putting efforts for benevolent actions, developing resources, achieving desires of soul, and hence obtaining salvation. May the subject support and strengthen the ruler so that he can control the criminals. The mantra can be interpreted for Ishwar. Ishwar is the ruler and we are the subject. We should cooperate with Ishwar in his mission to bring bliss to all of us. Only in this manner is purpose of creation justified. As you can see, the apologist has deliberately distorted the Sanskrit words. Despite this, he was still able to get tons of compliments. No Hindu cared to check such simple mistake. As far as the second rebuttal is concerned, I request the writer to explain which Sanskrit words here are translated into criminals, Ishwar, cooperate, developing resources. Have you noticed why translations of two apologists differs? It's because they have given their own interpretation to these verses. They have not translated in accordance with Brahmanas, Puranas, and early medieval commentaries. The difference in translations itself proves that they are trying to hide the facts. Mahidar, the renowned commentator on Vedas, explained it correctly. Thus modern Hindus are embarrassed to even mention Mahidar's commentary. He wrote, "Since the horse is dead, the chief queen herself takes the penis of the dead horse and places it into her vagina. She asks the horse to release semen in her may the vigorous male layer of semen release semen in me single quote." Commentary by Mahidara on Yajurveda 23.20. Unlike those two rebuttals, the classical scholar Mahidara did not give his personal interpretation. He interpreted these Ashvamedha verses in accordance with Yajurveda and Brahmana. Dr. B.R. Ambedkar also wrote, "Another instance of obscenity which disfigured the religion of the ancient Aryans is connected with the Ashvamedha Yajna, or the horse sacrifice. A necessary part of the Ashvamedha was the introduction of the sepas of the Meta into the yoni of the chief wife of the Yajamana, accompanied by the recital of long series of mantras by the Brahmin priests. A mantra in the Vajasanya Samhita XXII 18 shows that there used to be a competition among the queens as to who was to receive this high honor of being served by the horse. Those who want to know more about it will find it in the commentary of Mahidara on the Yajurveda, where he gives full description of the details of this obscene rite which had formed a part of the Aryan religion. Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, Riddle No. 23, p.295, Vol. 4, Riddles in Hinduism. Swami Parameshwarananda mentions about Ashvamedha in the Killa version of Rigveda. Mayanagni says, "Well is the membrum virile entered. Of the tree having such fruit may we gain basket after basket. In the form aspect there must be a human, in the latter a ritual to beast, and it is here that a horse comes in the horse to sacrifice. For some of the mantras that precede were actually sung at the horse to sacrifice. For some of the mantras that precede were actually sung at the horse to sacrifice. And, under this later influence can be explained the reading in RV to Killa the organ of the horse has entered, which we do not have at the avenue." Encyclopedic Dictionary of Vedic Terms by Swami Parameshwaranand, Vol. 2, p.356-8, published by Sarup and Sons, 2006 reprint. Swami Vivekananda also mentions about Ashvamedha Yajna, but he doesn't mention it clearly because of the obscenity. He wrote, "And in the Vedic Ashvamedha sacrifice worse things would be done. All the Brahmanas mention them, and all the commentators admit them to be true. How can you deny them? What is the worst thing that Swami Vivekananda talking about? We have read what Brahmanas and commentators says about Ashvamedha Yajna, and that's what Swami Vivekananda is hinting here. Swami Vivekananda is surely not talking about horse slaughter, for had he meant slaughter here he would have